Ratatouille?
Yes.
For movies?
As Harold and Kumar in a 2004 film can attest, this fast food chain hits different after riding a cheetah and hang gliding.
With the White Castle. With the White Castle.
White Castle?
Right.
Yeah.
Movie refreshments
Movie refreshments 1,000.
At the start of this 1973 sci-fi film, Edward G. Robinson wants more of the title food.
What's Back to the
By the
Future?
end,
What's Back
he
to the
becomes the title
Future?
food. Adriana.
What is Soylent Green?
Yes, it's
Hopefully
people.
agree.
Take to task 200.
It's a fine-grained mineral used in face powder.
What is talc?
What's
Yes.
talk?
For 4, take the test.
Take the task with 400.
It's the adjective for a bicycle built for two. Adriana.
What is tandem?
Right.
Take to task 600.
This festive headwear gets its name from a Robert Burns character. Drew.
What is tam o'shanter?
What's
Right.
table shelter? To task for 800.
Hysteria related to a certain spider's bite is somehow related to the origin of this lively dance. Tekla.
Tarantella.
Correct.
Take to task for 1,000.
This type of charm is said to ward off evil or bring good luck. Drew.
What is a talisman?
What's the
Good for
1,000?
1,000.
1,000.
Poetic objects for 4.
Poet objects with
Jean
400.
Toomer wrote of the flower of this crop, boll weevil's coming and the winter's cold. Drew.
What is cotton?
What's content?
For 6,
With
poetic objects.
poetic objects with
The new
600.
Colossus mentions a mighty woman with one of these, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning. Adriana.
What is a torch?
Correct.
Poetic objects 800.
Answer there. Daily double.
It's
You're behind
double.
at the moment, Adriana. Second place to Drew.
1,500.
Here's your clue in poetic objects. The last stanza of John Keats's poem about this title object mentions its attic shape.
What is a Grecian urn?
Grecian
With
urn
the
is right.
Grecian
Yes,
urn.
you have
Yes.
$300.
Poetic objects 1,000.
Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote of this, her deck once red with hero's blood, where knelt the vanquished foe. True.
What is old
With
Ironsides?
old Ironsides, poetic
Poetic
objects with
objects
200.
Finishing the category, Joyce Kilmer wrote, I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as this. Adriana.
What is a tree?
That is correct. You retake the lead from
Take
Drew.
our
You
first
two are
official
going great
break.
guns. We're going to have to pause for a second and we'll come right back. Tekla Sauter is a nonprofit strategist from Chicago, and I think the first Tekla I've ever met. That's an unusual name, right?
It is unusual.
And yet,
And yet,
you're not the only one, right?
no, I'm not a big believer in fate, but my husband grew up about a block away from a St. Tekla church, and so it was a little sign from above.
The Church of St. Tekla?
Yes.
And now he worships at the Church of St.
Oh,
Hugh,
I
right?
don't think so.
Drew Basile is a grad student from Birmingham, Michigan, and playing well right out of the gate on Jeopardy, possibly because this is not your first high-pressure TV experience, right?
It's not my first rodeo, Ken. That's right. I had the privilege of being on Survivor recently, so I
Oh, wow.
lasted out there for 23 days of 26 with no clothes, no shelter, no food. Affected the noggin a little bit, but I'm hoping to be back on the horse for Jeopardy.
Now that you've played a little bit of both, I've always wanted to know, how does Jeopardy compare with Survivor?
Well, Survivor's pretty hard on the body, but Jeopardy is tough on the mind. So we'll see how I do, and I'll tell you how.
We'll see how you do. You're going to reserve your response. I like it. Adriana, our champion, an archivist from West Lafayette, Indiana. You enjoy baking, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
That's become tricky for you.
Yes, a few years ago, I was diagnosed gluten intolerant.
Oh, no.
I had to modify all of my baking. Got really into researching alternative flours, have a whole shelf of them in my pantry, and I think most of my bakes are better now.
What's your tip for the gluten-free? What's your secret flour that works for you?
Almond flour and desserts.
Ah, almond flour. Interesting. You have a $100 lead right now, Adriana, and you gave us the last correct response, so let's pick the game back up.
The White House, 200.
The White House is sometimes referred to simply by this address. Drew.
What is
600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
I'm sorry, no. Adriana.
What is 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
1600, that's it.
White House, 400.
In its history, this room has been used as a private study, as well as where historic agreements have been signed.
With the Oval Office.
That's why it's called the Treaty Room.
The tree room.
Adriana?
Okay.
Oprah Paris, 200.
In 2021, tens of millions watched Oprah interview these two people about their struggle to preserve their mental health. Adriana?
Who are Harry and Meghan?
Correct.
Oprah Paris, 400.
Oprah's own network has featured stories of black families, like the kings of this California winemaking mecca. Tekla.
What's Napa?
Yes.
Oprah Paris, 600.
In 2021, Oprah used launch day of Oprah Daily, an online community, to announce she had gotten this, and how relieved she felt. She had gotten the COVID vaccine.
COVID vaccine.
Thank you, Tekla.
Okay.
Oprah Paris for 800.
Oprah's friend for nearly 50 years, she's the co-host of CBS Mornings and entered the O-Zone when both worked at WJZ Baltimore. Adriana.
Who is Gail King?
Correct.
Oprah Paris, 1000.
Oprah says, of her book club picks, there's none more essential than this Isabel Wilkerson book that puts race in its class context. Tekla.
What is Cast?
That's the book for 1,000.
White House for 600, please.
Fittingly, an original copy of the Gettysburg Address is on display in this upstairs guest room. Adriana.
What is the Lincoln bedroom?
That's right.
The White House, 800.
In 1981, Nancy Reagan took some flack for purchasing a 4,732-piece, $210,000 set of this for the White House. Adriana.
What is China?
Right.
The White House, 1000.
The tradition of having a decorated Christmas tree in the White House began with this president and grandson of another in 1889. Adriana.
Who is Benjamin Harrison?
Good for 1,000.
Roped in, 200.
It's the national name for the kids' game with two jump ropes turning in opposite directions. Tekla.
What's Double Dutch?
Yes.
Roped in for 4.
This synonym for lasso comes from the Spanish rayada, meaning rope. Drew.
With Lariat.
Correct.
Rope dip for 600.
Boxing legend Archie Moore called the defense the turtle shell. Muhammad Ali adapted it to what he called this. Against Foreman, he used the rope-a-dope.
Rope-a-dope.
Two clues left,
Okay.
Drew.
Ropes for
Ropes for 800.
Clove and half are two of these knots used to tie a rope to a post or other support. Tekla.
What's a hitch?
That's right.
1,000, last category.
Here's the last clue in Roped In. Tensions between rope makers and British soldiers helped lead to a March 1770 shooting of civilians in this city. Drew.
What is Boston?
What's
That's what
Boston?
sparked the Boston Massacre. That's
And
right. You're in second place with 5,600. Adrian.
Double Jeopardy.
Great start in the first round. Let's see if that continues in Double Jeopardy. Your categories will be first, historic ships, then some TV tidbits. It was once the capital. You'll give us the country. After that, G-men,
Quotation marks.
followed by general science and Russian lingo. Tekla, where do you want to begin?
It was once the capital for 800.
Yangon, sometimes called Rangoon, 1948 to 2005. Adriana.
What is Myanmar?
Right.
TV tidbits 800.
In 2022, he logged his 1500th sketch with Saturday Night Live, and that's what's up with that. True.
Was Keenan Thompson?
Yes, it is.
TV tidbits 1200.
James and Patrick Crawley's deaths on the Titanic set up an inheritance problem early on in this British drama.
Where's the
Adriana.
love
What is
phone?
Downton Abbey?
Yes.
TV tidbits
Downton
1600.
Abbey.
This actor, who played a very mad man in season 5 of
was
Fargo,
John
had
Hamm.
a dedicated
Was John
nippleologist
Hamm.
for his faux piercings. Drew.
Who is John Hamm?
Right.
Yes.
TV for 2.
This veteran
TV
actor has been
2000.
seen on Netflix in Three Body Problem and the final 2 seasons of The Crown. Adriana.
Who is Jonathan Price?
It was Jonathan Price.
TV tidbits 400.
Will Arnett watches magic being made with tiny plastic bricks on the Fox show called This
What
Masters.
Lego Masters? What's Lego?
Lego?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was once the capital for 1200.
And Teddy, 1894 to 1962. Drew.
What is Uganda?
What's Uganda?
I'll do G-Men
G-Men
for
for 1200.
He was succeeded by Ben Bernanke as head of the Fed. Drew.
Who is Greenspan?
What's
Right.
Greenspan?
I'll do
General
General
Science
Science
for 1200.
In 1671, naturalist John Ray discovered this acid by collecting and distilling large numbers of dead ants. Drew.
What is formic
What's
acid?
what is the acid?
I'll do
G-Men for
G-Men
1600.
for 16.
In his 2008 book Outliers, he wrote 10,000 hours is the magic number of greatness. Drew.
Who is Gladwell?
What's
That's
Gladwell?
correct, and you're in first place.
Gladwell.
I'll do General Science
General
for
Science for
16.
1600.
In 1948, this vitamin C advocate found that the polypeptide chain would coil into a structure he called the alpha helix. That's Linus Pauling.
Linus Pauling.
Back to you, Drew.
Okay.
Capital for
Capital for
16.
1600.
Quezon City, 1948 to 1976. Drew.
What is
What's
Guatemala?
Guatemala?
Sorry, no. Adriana.
What is the Philippines?
Right.
G-Men 800.
This real sports host also
What's
hosted the
Brian
Today Show
Couple?
for more
What's
than a
Brian
decade.
Couple?
Adriana.
Who is Gumbel?
Can you
Yeah.
be more specific?
Greg?
Sorry, no. Drew.
Greg,
who's Brian
no!
Can you say that again?
Who is Brian Gumble?
No, I'm sorry.
Brian,
Who's Brian
no!
Gumbo?
Brian
Yeah.
with a T, yes.
General Science for 2000, please.
It's the 5-syllable word for a counterpart such as the positron to the negatively charged electron. Drew.
What is it?
Was it antiparticle?
Correct.
G-Men
I'll
for
do G-Men for
2000.
2000.
The G-Men were after this G-Man who was born in Chicago and nicknamed Sam the Cigar. Mob boss Sam Giancana.
Sam Giancana.
Historic
Okay.
chips
This
for
was
12.
tips for 1200.
Answer there.
Oh, the Daily
Those
Double.
are the two daily doubles in the round, Drew.
Yes,
You can see
it
the
is.
score and you're tied for the lead.
I'll go 10,000.
Wow.
Wow.
Let's bet 10,000,
It's a big
please.
wager. Let's see if it pays off. In historic ships, the world's largest aircraft carrier for 10 years, it was built starting in October 1943 and named for a battle 16 months before.
What is Midway?
With Midway? Yes!
That is correct. You have $22,800. Still a daily double out there, though. Select.
Capital.
Capital for 2000.
Turku, 1809 to 1812. Adriana.
What is Estonia?
No, I'm sorry.
Run!
Drew.
What is Latvia?
What's
That's also
Latvia?
wrong. Tekla, not going to try it. It's nearby Finland.
Finland.
Back to you, Drew.
Okay.
Russian
Russian lingo for
lingo,
1200.
Russian for 3 gives us this word for a type of carriage, or any trio of influential folks. Drew.
What's the Troika?
What's
Yes.
Troika?
Russian for
Russian for
16.
1600.
Meaning assembly, this type of council constitutes the lower house of the Russian parliament. Tekla.
It's the Duma.
It is the Duma.
Russian lingo for 800.
This borrowed word is comfortable coming before either sturgeon or whale. What is beluga?
Beluga.
Tekla?
Okay.
Russian lingo for 4.
A kopeck is one of these that many Russians may have in their pockets. Tekla.
What's a coin?
It is.
Russian lingo for 2000, please.
Answer there, the last daily double.
Oh, she found the other Daily Double.
What do you want to do with this opportunity, Tekla?
I will wager 3,000.
Here's your clue in Russian lingo. This 14-letter word, now referring to elite artistic thinkers, had a more socialistic bent back in Russia.
What is intelligentsia?
That's correct, yes.
Intelligentsia, yes, you got it.
Okay, what's the capital for 400, please?
Kandahar, 1747 to 1773. Tekla.
What's Afghanistan?
Yes, that's right.
G-Men for 400.
In 2016, this current Attorney General was nominated to the Supreme Court
Oh, I
by Barack
don't know
Obama.
this person.
Tekla.
Who's Merrick Garland?
Yes.
Oh, Merrick Garland.
General Science for 400.
Okay.
Types of these waves include love, primary, secondary, and the did you feel that kind.
Nothing.
Those are seismic waves, earthquakes. Tekla.
Earthquakes.
General Science
Okay.
400, please.
Radar images taken by the Magellan spacecraft in the 1990s helped determine that this planet has
What's
around
Saturn?
85,000
What is Saturn?
volcanoes. Drew.
What is Venus?
Right.
Oh, Venus.
Historic ships, right?
This ironclad, built by John Erickson for the U.S. Navy, was never truly seaworthy and sank in December 1862 off Cape Hatteras. Drew.
What is the monitor?
What's the monitor?
Historic
Historic
ships for
ships from
16.
1600.
In 1789, this ship's crew tried to settle on Tubuai in the Austral Islands, but were rebuffed by the native inhabitants and returned to Tahiti. Adriana.
What is the Endeavor?
No, I'm sorry. Drew or
Incorrect.
Tekla? What is the Bounty?
Bounty,
Back to you, Drew.
okay.
2 clues left.
Historic ships for 2000.
Historic ships of 2000.
This similar-sounding sister ship of the Lusitania, named for a North African kingdom, served as a hospital ship in World War I. That's the Mauritania.
Mauritania. Okay, the last clue.
The 48-gun galleon San Martin was the flagship of the Duke of Medina Sidonia, who led this group against England in 1588. Tekla.
Spanish Armada.
It is the
Spanish
Spanish
Armada.
Armada.
Final Jeopardy
Drew's
time.
gutsy daily double wager means he has a big lead heading into Final Jeopardy right now. The category for you three today will be
Brands. Final
And we'll
Jeopardy
come back with
category
a clue.
brands.
category today, brands. Here's the clue. In 1978, a new cologne for men came out called this. What's being played in the company's iconic logo? 30 seconds. Good luck. Adriana Harmeyer had 9,300 coming into final. She wrote down
Axe.
What is Axe? And I'm afraid that's not correct.
No,
Adriana.
not Axe.
It cost you the 1,400 you wagered, dropping you down to 7,900. Tekla Sauter was in second place with 10,600. She wrote down
Polo.
Polo, and that's correct.
Polo's right.
Polo for men.
Oh,
She's going to
Adriana will
add
not
how
be
much, Tekla?
faded.
You wagered 8,001, bringing you to 18,601. But Drew Basile had that big lead, $23,600. What game did you think of? What is Jeopardy?
Jeopardy, no.
We should have a cologne, right? What would it smell like, Drew?
I'm afraid we
Flop
can't give you
now?
credit for
How
that
much
one.
did you wager?
$118.
$118.
Each
That
off,
knocks you back to
and I won.
23,482. But as Alex Trebek used to say, we have a giant killer.
Adriana, I'll see you on Tournament Champions for next year.
Congratulations, Drew, on the big win. Adriana Harmeyer, of course, leaves us after 15 wins, nearly $350,000. That's the 11th longest streak all time in Jeopardy history. We'll be seeing you again in the Tournament of Champions. Congratulations. Drew will be back tomorrow, and I hope we see you as well. So long.